Hey, welcome to Leading with Grit, episode 1. And this is the ebook that was intended to be really strategies for executive success and the culmination of my experience in working with very talented leaders, some of the world's best Fortune 50 companies, and selling the world's best product and having some of the world's best high-performing teams. It's a collection of thoughts, and this is not, in essence, an opportunity for me to talk about what I particularly did specifically, but more a collection of assets and learnings and reflection on kind of what it takes to continue to be a high-performance seller and a high-performance leader. And so I put this book together. It's available shortly on my website, trinityadvisorysolutions.com. And I thought it'd be something that we can have some dialogue. So every Monday, I'm going to release one of the chapters, if you will, and we'll just have some short reflection on it. And then at some point in time, you get the book, comment, subscribe, and let's connect. But this is really some reflection points on what I think it takes to move that next level. And so by definition, grit is often defined as passion or perseverance for setting long-term goals. In context for executive leadership, it transcends more than just mere determination, but it embodies the resilience to navigate challenges and to exhibit the commitment to achieve sustained success. And I'm finding out that leaders that are equipped with grit are not only driven by their ambitions, but also they exhibit an unwavering focus on their objectives. They even when they're facing adversity, the quality that enables them to inspire teams in stressful situations, be persistent within their organizations, and lead by example is what I call grit. And I think to effectively lead with grit, executives must first understand its components. I think passion fuels the fire for motivation, while perseverance serves as an essential stamina needed to overcome obstacles. And together, these elements create a robust framework that I call grit for achieving goals and seeing how you go out and approach or attack unattainable goals at first glance. And by fostering this gritty mindset, I think there's an opportunity for us to take our teams and leaders around us and unlock untapped potential and drive performance to new heights. And so, moreover, I think grit plays a crucial role in decision-making process. Leaders who embody grit are often likely to take calculated risks and make those bold choices to propel the organization to the next level. I often get criticized, or at least commentary on kind of ambitious goals. But I think fundamentally as a gritty leader, you have to set the bar. And I love one of the things I like about AWS's hiring practices. They have these bar raisers. The concept is you hire people, you put yourself in position to raise the level of expectations of the current role that you're in so that you move the organization forward. And this mindset shifts the organizational culture from one of fear and failure to one of innovation and continuous improvement, and paving the way for what I believe is long-term success. I think great leaders have consistent, high-performing teams. Consistent, high-performing teams. Going to President's Club and having people be at the top 5, top 10 in your organization in large and sales companies is not an anomaly. It's what is expected. And so that's what we try to create. That's what I try to create. And so in sales leadership, grit is particularly vital. The ever-changing landscape for market requires us to adapt, right? To quickly adapt, be steadfast with our strategies. Sales teams need to have gritty leaders who are more resilient and better equipped to handle objections and obstacles. And such leaders must instill what I call that determination. Look your team in the eye and be not only have that accountability where you own your mistakes, but be able to have that grittiness where you dive in without accusations, without highlighting people's faults, but really being able to be empathetic while applying pressure and understanding of the other things that involve in making these decisions and really helping your teams be better. And I think lastly, the journey towards developing grit as a leader requires a conscious effort. Executives must actively cultivate this trait to be the best in themselves. I think taking some quiet time, in one of my ebooks I call it The Zone, which is called Mindfulness in Selling, which is one of my Zen books that and my daughter inspired me because she's one of her, what I call the family yogis, if you will. But it's really slowing down and being cautious or conscious of who you are, what you want to present in the marketplace to your team and to your organization, but it's really being conscious about what you're driving. And so I think it's important. And I think there's some essential effective leaders often, even in its fast-paced and unpredictable world, they have a level of steadiness about them, right? They don't go emotionally left or right. There's never this outburst, if you will. And they're just consistent. I think it's important that we understand that this resilience is particularly vital in sales environments where rejection and setbacks are common, right? Our teams, our organization don't need more friction coming from us, but more uplift and positive energy to turn things around. And in the book, I talk about characteristics, resilience, determination. One of the other things is about maintaining focus on long-term objectives. Gritty leaders foster a growth mindset within the organization. They really push their teams to think about more, right? They think about going beyond. I think quota is a benchmark. It's not an objective, right? So whenever I interview people and I talk about how many times did you reach quota and they dive in on that question, it's actually a trick question, right? I don't care how many times you've attained quota. How many times did you blow past quota? How many times did you set ambition goals and miss some of those goals, but yet you strove for something far much more than what the company's requiring of you, but what you require of yourself. So these are some of the characteristics. I think another one, gritty leaders exhibit emotional intelligence, which allows them to connect with their teams on a deeper level, right? Owning their emotions and being able to empathize and challenge your teams with empathy and awareness of how their tone, how their message, how they position people, how they project. Those are all assets and attributes that are important as leaders when we talk about gritty leaders. And so it's important that we dive into that and we understand. And then finally, the ability to model grit in front of your team and having that defining characteristic of an effective leader is important. Our teams look up to us. As a professional seller, others look up to you, your solution architects, your product leads, your pricing people, your operations people. And so there's a responsibility that we have that should permeate our organization. I often say, leave your thumbprint in your deals. Leave your thumbprint in a presentation. Leave the room with somebody getting something from what you said, of what you've done, of how you've acted. And so it's our jobs to raise the bar. It's our job to achieve goals, to empower our teams. But the end game of a gritty leader is to push people to a new height and have their overall success of your organization and those teams be better than they were before you got there, or be better than after you got there. Sorry about that. And it's important. So in this ebook, we're going to dive into some things. And next week, we're going to talk about the science of grit, the psychological foundations of what this means. But I hope we get a chance to spend some time in reflection. I've already got some feedback on some of the posts that I've done. And so if you like this, please subscribe. Give me some feedback. Join a couple of groups on LinkedIn, CRM Disruptors, Next Level Sellers is where this ebook will sit, and Upscale America, which is a 5013 foundation. I founded fundamentally to pour back resources into those people who have been displaced by AI. And that's going to be hopefully a global impacting opportunity. And then take a look at my Trinity Advisory Solutions website, and there might be something there that might help you and direct you as you're navigating as a founder or an executive looking to pivot, driving strategy, or just took on a new role. And this is a safe place. This is not a place of critique. This is not a place of explaining something as a perfectionist, but this is a place where we learn, we grow, and we have dialogue together. So hopefully you'll join me on this journey and enjoy the ebook. And so until next time, stay gritty and God bless.